It's good to be back. Today, whatever time zone this might be in, we're having a wonderful discussion today about some WCW autographs. And today we have we're fortunate to have good old Wes Moore. Am I pronouncing it right? Wes Moore, right?
Oh yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Yeah. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
It's another blazing hot day here in Arizona. So I think it's hit about
How hot is it
90
there
some odd,
now?
90 degrees today.
Oh,
So,
that's hot.
yeah, we chose to go to the zoo today, so that was a wonderful thing. So we're all sunburned and feeling great.
Mm.
I really was looking forward to getting you on and talk to you about. I've been watching your progression in collecting all those cool 98, 99 WCW Topps autograph cards, and I think as of today you're down to final 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, got eight left.
And who are they? Got Jericho, Guerrero,
Yeah,
Hogan. I think it was.
yeah.
Was it Fire?
Fire
Van Hammer.
Van Hammer's left. Mean Gene
Oh.
and Gorgeous George and Medusa.
Medusa. Okay, Gorgeous George Medusa. That's awesome. That's pretty impressive there. I mean, as it is. I mean, when you talk about those sets, you have 3 releases. The first 2 releases both had factory inserted autograph cards, 37 from each release.
Right.
And then embossed had 27. And then we're not even talking about the, ones that circulated outside those. Have you gone after those too?
I've got 2 of them. I've got Scott Steiner and Bobby Duncombe Jr.
So is that not counting towards your missing 8?
No, I don't count the unreleased in that. The set to me is 101. There were 8 unreleased that have been found, spotted, circulated. Beckett actually lists the set at 104, with the 101 that I've been trying to get to, the Steiner, the Duncombe, and the Mikey Whipwreck. They list that on the registry as part of the normal set. But
they list those 3 cards as part of the normal set?
Yes, sir. They do.
I wish I would have known that. I actually did have a nice discussion. I don't know if you watched the episode where I spoke to the editor of the Beckett Almanac, Wrestling Almanac.
Yeah.
I would have hit him up on that.
Yeah, I know those 3 that they've included are the most commonly found out in the open, but I'm not sure how they made that call.
Yeah, that's interesting.
101. There's 101 in the sets. What I'm going for.
So that's what you're going for, and you're down to your final 8.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been collecting those?
I got the first one in 07 and just accumulated some for probably about 4 years, and then had about 15 or 20 and started doing a little research to see exactly how many there were in the set, and figured, hey, it's a long-term goal, but about 2012 is really when I started trying to work on it as a set. So it's coming up on about 9 years since I've done probably 75 of the 93.
That's and I'm sure the pricing was much better back then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I knew now, I would already have Hogan. I would have Medusa. I would have all the ones that are going to cost me a house payment to get.
Surprisingly, the Medusa one would cost you a house payment.
Yeah, I don't know. I've tried to do research. Maybe I don't. As far as insertion rates or how many actually made it in, but there had to be some wacky differentials on some of these folks that didn't get all their cards back in, or stuff happened.
Yeah, I actually one of my earlier interviews was with a gentleman named Jeff Zapata, and he
I
worked
saw that.
yeah, he worked for Topps during that time frame, and he had recommended that I try to contact this guy. I can't remember his name now. I have to go back and do my notes. But I tried finding this guy, both myself and Jeff Zapata, who said I still have his old phone number and his old home address, and apparently those don't work anymore. And he was the liaison between Topps and WCW and worked very closely with Jimmy Hart.
Yeah,
And
that's what I remember from the episode. He talked about Jimmy Hart helped him get a lot of the guys to get their stuff back in.
yeah, and I've reached out to my a close friend of mine who's really good friends with Jimmy Hart, and apparently Jimmy's just not interested in doing podcasts. So, and I'm like, now I'm about ready to say, you know what, screw the podcast. Just can I talk to him on the phone, or can we arrange some kind of a conference call where I can ask him these questions about these cards, just so I can get some kind of clarity?
Has he still got the bar? Maybe we could just go down to Florida and go to his bar.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'll talk to my buddy and see if we can make that arrangement. I'll fly out there for that.
I'm pretty close to Florida.
You are actually, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I go to Tampa usually once a year until the COVID, of course. I go once a year for a convention, but I don't go there very often. But I'd go there for that. I would go there for that. So you don't just collect, obviously, just the WCW autograph cards. You collect other things as well. What else do you collect?
I do general wrestling autographs. I've got a lot. Usually when I run up on almost anybody that's had a card, set issued TNA, WWE, I'll pick them up if I don't have one of their autographs in my book. Used to be big into football, baseball, stuff like that. This set has kind of wiped me off on that for the last 5 or 6 years, because this is its own thing for me.
This is your main focus right now is finishing off this WCW autograph set.
Yeah, no doubt. Until I get done with this, there's not going to be any other stuff for me.
You collect a wide variety of autograph cards and from wrestling as well. So like you do the Leaf stuff, you do some WWE stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit of Leaf stuff, and lots of WWE autographs. I'm not a big box busting guy, so I used to get a lot of stuff off CMOC.
Mm-hmm.
You could find a lot of very, very good Leaf stuff on there, and that's where I got a lot of stuff pre-COVID, pre-shipping delay.
Yeah, and then on top of that, pricing wise too. I mean, once COVID hits, almost like the prices skyrocket on everything collectible. Everything.
Pretty much everything is doubled or tripled, or sometimes a lot more than that.
So do you feel like, that means that the stuff you've already invested in before this stuff hit, it's gone way up in price, and I mean.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely rich. There's no doubt. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to break stuff out just sometimes and just go on eBay and just see what's changed, in the last year or so.
So what's your goal when you finish this? Are you going to be displaying these somehow? I mean, how are you going to display them? You put them in a book? You're going to get them framed?
I did have them displayed up till about 80. I would use the frames that you would get from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and you could put 20 in there. I did that until I got to 80, and I put them in mags, and they are too heavy for those frames. So I was constantly having to reattach those to the wall. So I finally decided that although I'd love to have them up, the last thing I needed was for them to fall off the wall, have something happen.
Sure.
This is not something that I would want to take any chances with. I'll be honest with you. Since I've got closer, I've thought about what will I do with it once it's done. And I'm probably going to put it in a safe deposit box at a bank or get a safe or something, because
you can't enjoy it that way.
I can digitally, like we talked about.
That's
I've
true.
got Twitter. I've got Twitter, and I have, you know, like we talked about, I've been pretty consistent for the last 3 years or so. Every time I get a card, I get it up there, and I document who, you know, had a hand in helping me get it. And I go back through that stuff often and hit guys up and say, hey, you got anything new? You
You
got
got anything
anything
new?
new?
Got to send them your
Yeah.
updated list.
Well, you know, I've had guys come back to me and say, hey, I decided I'd sell my Goldberg, or I've decided, you know, I don't want this giant anymore, or Ultimo Dragon, stuff that just doesn't show up on eBay a lot. Guys have helped me out tremendously, as a lot of people that have helped me try to keep it moving.
Of all the cards, do you have a favorite card of all that stuff? Of all the
Man, that's tough. If you made me pick one, I would pick one.
I'm making you
guess.
pick one.
All right, so I would say my favorite is Brad Armstrong.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Why?
So Brad Armstrong, you know, is on the list of the guys that's RIP in this set, which is a big driver on, you know, the pricing and the availability and all that stuff. But the reason that one is the most important to me is because when I got into wrestling here in Alabama, there was Continental Wrestling that would come to all the small towns, and that was Bullet Bob Armstrong ran. You know, well, he had a piece of the property, but he was one of the big stars. And at that time, Brad was in Crockett a lot, and he would come basically occasionally and, you know, work main events with his dad and do stuff like that. And at those small shows, you could meet those guys a lot. And, you know, he was one of my favorite guys. And then in WCW, you know, it just never clicked for him. And it was almost kind of surprising that he even got in this set. A lot of guys in this set, you look at it and you say, wow, how did that guy get in the set?
Yeah.
But Brad Armstrong, for me, just because that's what I grew up on, was Continental Wrestling, and Brad Armstrong was in it. And Bullet Bob Armstrong was a guy that I loved as a kid. And so that one, if I had to pick one card to keep, believe it or not, that would be it.
Interesting. I would never have guessed that in a million years.
Well,
I have 101. I have 101 guesses. So, is there any of those? Well, rumor had it, right, by the way. Rumor had it was that everybody who was under contract for WCW at that time had a card made. That's the rumor. So this is why you would see a Ric Flair show up out of nowhere, a Scott Steiner show up out of nowhere, a Booker T show up out of nowhere. You know, rumor was like there's a Bischoff one, there's an Ultimate Warrior one, there was a Ted Turner one. Those are rumors. Never.
Enos, you know that guy?
Huh?
Mike Enos.
Yep.
Does that ring the bells?
Yep.
So he's not listed amongst most people as part of the 8 that, you know, have surfaced, but there have been several people that have shown off Enos blanks with no autos.
Like to see them.
Yeah, I can get you some pics. I've got a saved thing from a blowout for them like 10 years ago.
It's what's hard. If it's from back then, it makes it a little bit more valid, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty old. It was pretty old.
Because, you know, today with technology, we did an episode once talking about, you know, bootleg sets and things like that. And I've seen people posting like, oh, I have this cool custom made, you know, I had this cool custom made, you know, dual autograph of Hogan and Nash, you know, it's like that. It's like, I mean, Hall and Nash. Yeah. And it's like, well, those are misleading because that's,
absolutely.
Yeah. I get it. It's a fun thing that you made and had done just like that, but it's misleading. You
Mhm.
probably, whenever you post it like that, you should probably be very clear to a collector who's getting into it that this is a bootleg or this is my own custom made card. So when I see stuff like that, I try to do my homework and find out, is this a legit card? You know, it's things like
Right.
the Rey Mysterio card. I know those are real because I'm the one who made those public.
Yeah.
um, I had made a deal with Ray at the time, and I had some signed in blue, some signed in black, and a few signed in red.
Yeah.
And it was when he was between WCW and WW Gig. He came to a Southern California show that I was a vendor at, and we struck up a deal. And I think I did about 40 cards with him or something like that of the brick that he had. And
Right.
then you know, I over time just got rid of all of them.
Did he say why he didn't get them back in?
Just never did. Just never got him back in.
Yeah.
Never did. Nobody actually forced him to. No one asked him that it was a priority. And that's kind of the gist that I got when I talked to Jeff Zapata,
Right.
that it was just a whole different, dealing with WCW was a whole different way of dealing with WWE or WWF at the time.
Mhm.
It was just two different things. And,
Yeah.
you know, one's very strict and one very loose, you know.
Mhm.
So it's just interesting to start seeing some of these cards, you know, pop up every once in a while. Here we are, you know, over 20 years removed,
Right.
and you know, we haven't seen any of the other alleged mystery cards ever show up. Not to say that they won't. We don't know what's sitting around in Ultimate Warrior's estate. We don't know if Bischoff's got something in a storage facility somewhere with cards that he just forgot about. Don't know.
That makes a lot of sense when you say that everybody that was contracted got presented with cards, because some of the guys that got cards were just, you know, they were just support enhancement talent
Yeah.
from
Why would Van Hammer have a card?
Tough Tom. Why would, you know, why would Tough Tom have a card?
Exactly. You know, or Lodi.
Yeah.
It's just exactly. And then it's like, well, Lodi has a card, but Ultimate Warrior doesn't. Eric Bischoff doesn't.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting. And I think there's going to come a day that if they really do exist, and that's that myth is true, there'll come a day when those things will actually, you know, show up.
Well, they will bring a lot of money.
Probably, it doesn't. Yeah, it would, especially
Like
the
the
names being
Booker
attached.
T recent, yeah. The Booker T that was on eBay lately. I mean, I don't know, you know, if that's legit. I mean, obviously the Booker T's cards were legit,
Sure.
but just the blank that went on eBay, and then I think it ended up going for $5,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
It's just that, you know, in my normal line of work, you know, I've been around a lot of these guys, and I worked with him once at an appearance in Southern California. I never even had the right frame of mind to even ask him. I should have asked him back then. You're like, hey, you
yeah,
know, did you ever get those cards? You have any leftovers? Can I buy one from you?
mhm,
You know,
yeah,
I really wish I could have, but I mean, it happens in all the different ones. Like you know, Comic Images put out the SmackDown release, and
mhm,
SmackDown Chrome, and of course Superstars and other. And I had, and working with Kevin Nash at a particular convention one time, we shared a table with Terry Reynolds, and she had a whole stack of these, you know, autograph cards I'd never seen before for SmackDown, and it
right,
was when she was part of PMS.
yeah, yeah.
And so,
Pretty mean and sexy, yeah.
yep. And so I had her
I'm
sign.
still mad about that set, by the way.
You're what?
I said I'm mad about that set
Why?
all these years later. So I got a Boss Man autograph.
Mm-hmm.
All were signed on the back.
On the back.
Clearly authentic. You know, there's hundreds of examples of it out
Sure.
there. You know, it just got signed on the back. PSA'd it, denied it. Beckett
Interesting.
denied it.
When?
This is about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
It's funny because my understanding is that both of those companies actually have used WTC to authenticate cards. And that card is obviously on our checklist with the information about it, denoting
Yeah.
that he signed all of his cards on the back.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, they hurt my feelings with that
Oh.
one.
I would, I'm gonna have to try and see if I can do something about that. It'd be
Okay.
nice. Well, it's just some of those cards, they do get kind of hard to authenticate, I guess. I mean, it seems kind of
Sure.
odd that they sign on the back, but hell, there's variations of Hogan's cards signed on the back and front. I mean, some are signed HH, some are signed Hollywood Hogan, some are signed,
Mhm.
So, are you
Sonny
going
Ono as well.
on what?
Sonny Ono is famous for
Correct.
signing his on the back.
Are you after variations as well, or no?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. Um, maybe after, I get it done. Um, the only thing I've had to come up on with variations is the ink. Some of the guys just did not sign it with a Sharpie fine point blue.
Hmm.
Several of the guys didn't. And Scott Putski, I know, is one that I've never been able to get except in black Sharpie thick. There's a couple of other guys I forget that didn't sign, and I really like the thin blue clear signature. And I mean, there's folks out there that have done the whole erasing and get re-signed
Oh,
gimmick, and I'm not down for
yeah.
that.
Like the Bret Hart one's always a pretty signature. Always very
Very
nice. Um, uh, do you only collect the autographs from those three releases, or have you collected everything else from those releases?
just the autos.
Just the autos. You don't do base, the chromes, and that stuff.
I have the base set and I have the chromes, but only because of just a handful of boxes that I've busted over the years, which never got an auto.
You
Probably
never got
10
you
boxes.
never got an auto in a box. That is so
Nope,
strange.
nope.
I have never not opened a box and not gotten an auto.
I can't remember one of those 9 or 10 boxes, and I'm pretty sure it's 10 that I ever pulled one out of the box.
You sure you weren't
So
opening a retail box?
I'm positive. I'm positive. I tell you, I think what happened, honestly, is I keep hearing the 1 in 40 number
Mm-hmm.
as the pack out on those. And so that would be, just a little bit over the box.
Correct.
And guys that have had cases of these for years, have slowly and methodically maybe opened some of these. And I think I've just got skunked a bunch of times.
I mean, Topps did that because it's 1 in 40 instead of 1 in 36 packs. Like just in case you didn't pull one. I even had a box where I pulled 3 autographs out of one box.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard.
I
Well, I
mean,
saw the post where you replied.
yeah, and I was just but I don't think I've ever opened a box and not hit an autograph in any of those releases. My very first case that I ever bought of any product ever in my life was 99 embossed. And so I was super happy to pull, a Hogan swatch, that ringside rarity. And
Yeah.
then every box yielded me one autograph, all of them.
Just not my luck.
It's,
Not my
it's
luck. Of course,
crazy.
I might have pulled Nick Patrick or something when I was drinking and forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to remember Nick Patrick? I mean, so then I guess if you don't really collect the individual releases, you don't really have a favorite release or favorite set of those 3 sets.
I don't. I don't. I have busted more of the embossed than the other 2, just because the Hogan card was there, and I would have, liked to have had it, and still would like to have it, and
Oh,
probably
the ringside
will.
rarity.
Yeah, the yellow swatch first ever deal. That's probably what I've busted the most. But I mean, I love those cards, but to me, it's just the mythos of the autograph set.
Strictly an auto guy, huh?
Hmm.
Your final 8. Are you actively? I mean, you got any leads?
Well, there's 3 of them on eBay. All of them are grossly overpriced, according to my taste right now. I just did a huge deal that took me from 12 to 8 that included several that I had not seen on eBay in a while. And Vincent was one of those that
Of
was
all the
in
people.
there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I've never been able to catch Vincent, but There's 3 on eBay. I got a buddy, if he's watching, that has Eddie, but he wants to make 3 house payments with it. So
he wants to take your house from you.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, when you look at there's been 2 Eddies sell in the last month, and both of them have been over 1,000.
In my limited experience and over the years, I ran into him a few times over the years, and he always seems super genuine, and that he's very generous in his signatures too. Like he wouldn't sign free. That my experience. So he seems like somebody that if they gave him a brick, he'd probably sign the entire brick.
Mm-hmm. I bet he did.
So I can't imagine that he's short printed by any means. But it's always going to be a myth. It's always going to be, finding out from someone, how many did Hogan sign versus how many did Sonny Ono sign? How many did, there's no print runs in these as far as how many were signed. I don't think it's going to be ever solved.
Well, I think a big thing is, that's not ever going to come out. But as far as how they hit the market, I think a lot of folks have taken the guys that passed and the girls that have passed and have just put them back. It just, they're not going to let them go.
No, I think you're right.
And so that limits, what's going to get out there. I mean, I watched Macho Man and Elizabeth auctions for 3 years and finally run up on outside of eBay is where I found mine on Mercari.
Yep.
And I sweated that for 4 days. If they were even really going to come, did they just grab a Google image and throw it up there? But got them.
So you're kind of throwing the dice on stuff like that sometimes, trying to and hoping. But I think I have very limited experience with Mercari. So the seller doesn't get paid until you receive the item, though, right?
Yeah, you have to click a box to tell them that you've got the item. I'm not sure how the whole satisfaction part of it works, but I do know that they don't get their money. It's held. And that's the only reason I did it. But
Gotcha.
I got them this year, and it was significantly less than what they normally go for on eBay.
So do you just kind of do all your homework? Obviously, do you just kind of give yourself like, okay, for this person, this is my max limit I'm going to spend on this card?
I have an idea in my head since I've got down under 20 of what I want to try to do on each one of them. I have not always stuck to that.
So, well, sometimes you win big time. You luck into something that's like, all right, I just saved myself $200 on that card, so I can kind of just move it over to this card now and justify paying more over here.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that.
When you're done with this, what's after that? You gonna start a new collection of something?
I've had people ask me that. Guys on Twitter ask me, "What are you gonna do when you get done with this?" And I don't know, honestly. I've thought about it. There's plenty of other vintage things that I could go do. I could, get back heavy into sports, or
I was going to ask you, maybe get back into football or something like that, or
maybe. I mean, I would like to do the early Topps baseball runs, but I fear that with 8 left on the bone, I've still got a while to start thinking about that.
You never know. Somebody might come in and just says, "Hey, I've got 5 of your 8. Make me an offer."
I had a guy on Twitter last night tell me that he had 3 of the 8 that I need.
Okay.
I said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "For sale?" And he said, "Nope."
Then why would you tell me?
What? Giggles, I guess.
It's like going to a strip club, man. I swear to God. It's like, here you go. You can see it, but you can't touch it.
I mean, talk about a kick in the gut.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I love these sets because these sets are kind of right in my wheelhouse as far as a collector goes too. I mean, I started collecting in the mid to late '80s, anyways. So I
Mhm.
was in early on the top stuff, and then just kind of up and down, faded here, And then when the comic images and top stuff came out, I was all in again. So this is
Yeah.
like really exciting to talk about these autograph cards because there's just such um, so many cool card signatures. Like again, people you would never think would have a card. There's a lot of first time, and some of them, in some case, only time they've ever signed cards.
Tons of guys in the set that have never signed anything else.
Never, never.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of your Armstrongs like that, do you have like some favorites as well besides that one? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a big sucker for the amount of time and the quality of the signatures in this set.
yeah, I love La
Because
Parca. Is awesome.
yeah, La Parca draws the doodle on there, and a lot of the luchador guys really put a lot of time into their signatures,
Hmm.
and some of the guys didn't do anything. Ultimo Dragon was one that I looked for a long time, and I don't know, I just really liked
Yep.
his signature, and that's a big part of it for me is just the amount of time that some of the guys put into signing those cards, and that they took a lot of extra time to do that, and some of the guys just squiggly lined it
Yeah.
like you
Yep.
know whatever.
I mean, you're going to be, I mean, you're after Medusa's like that. I think she signed all hers, Keep Slamming or something like that, right?
Keep on slamming.
Keep on slamming. Yeah. um, and then you have like, again, some squiggles, which we're kind of all used to nowadays when you have like the Roman Reigns squiggles and this Sasha Banks squiggles and hell, the Velveteen Dreams, like sometimes not even a V. It's just a line. You're lucky.
Yeah.
I have it laying around. Where'd it go? I have it laying around somewhere. I got it back from Topps finally from an undisputed box I opened up
Mhm.
for a box break. But I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who got in his cornflakes when he signs his cards, but he seems like he really is nonplussed with doing it.
Yeah, somebody even tweeted once of some sports guy. It might have been a basketball player, could have been a football player. It was a
Mhm.
straight, thick black line. Just fit, fit, fit.
Yep.
That's all it was on all his cards. That's it.
Yeah, I remember years ago. It's escaping me who it was. It was some baseball guy or something, but he wrote on there, "I hate signing these cards."
Is that what he wrote on the card?
Yeah, he did a little squiggle and then he wrote, "I hate signing these cards."
And he spends the extra time to express how much he hates it. And I go, I love that. Thank you. I'll take that
Yeah,
one right away.
thanks. Because I know he didn't do that on all of them.
Yeah, he already. I told the story before once. I actually went to go and to a Jimmy Page
Mhm.
autograph for his book signing one time, and I was so excited to one meet him, and then two, you'll get a signature. Oh no, there was no signature. It was he signed it, but his signature was a stamp. That's what it was, just a stamp.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't even like try to trick you about it by like pre-stamping it and him just shaking your hand and thank you for the book and you're like, oh, he's not going to sign it. Oh, it's already signed, sir. Oh, they just did it right in front of you. You're not getting
No
that signature.
illusions.
Yeah, no
No
illusions.
illusions.
Yep, they hid nothing. I mean, some of these guys just they don't like it at all. I mean, I did
Mhm.
the Triple H book signing when he did his book. Was it called Making the Game? And
Mhm.
for every book you bought, you got one additional item signed. So when people knew I was going to go and get a book, buy a book, I ended up buying 6 books, and
Yeah.
I got 6 things signed. But I was in the first 50 people, like a few hundred people in that book signing, and he was grumpy from the very get go.
Yeah.
But he signed, and he has a beautiful
I wonder if
signature.
he gets that from Vince, being around Vince so much.
Who knows? I mean, some of these guys who, it's mostly the legends, I guess. Most of them are kind of grumpy in that sense, but I don't know. I think one of the cool things with the WCW cards too is that they're all on card. There's no stickers.
Yeah.
That's what makes them awesome, I think.
Yeah, I love that part of it too. If they were stickers, I don't know that I would have ever gotten into it like to pursue it.
It's hard, and I think that's why some of those ones that ended up showing up on the secondary market and never got put in
Mhm.
the packs is because Top spent a lot of money getting these cards printed and
Right.
then never got them back, or like, oh, we're not doing that again.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you're probably right on that. That probably did curtail them doing that again.
So it's really rare when you actually get on-card signatures.
Mhm.
Well, a time frame. I think it's a little more common now, even though we still see a lot of stickers. We still seeing stuff like a lot of undisputed and things like that are getting on card, which is nice. And then again, of course, when you start buying like that high end, what's it? Uh, what is that? High $15,000 box that W at Topps puts out.
Transcendent.
Transcendent. Yeah, I mean those better be on freaking card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want no stickers for 15 grand.
Mm-mm.
So, well, good luck to you, man. Those final eight. I mean, it seems like you kind of go in waves. Like you get nothing for a while, and all of a sudden you get boom, 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 and hit. So,
Yeah. Yeah. When you see any of the guys or folks that follow me on Twitter, when you see me list a bunch like that, it's all come from one person, and sometimes these cards I have to work on, several months getting everything together, lined up to get the person that's letting them go what they need out of them. So sometimes, in the beginning, I'd get 7, 8 cards at a time. Now it's not as much, but just recently getting 4 when I only had 12 left to get was pretty huge.
so
But
you're constantly monitoring all the online auctions. Obviously, you're probably
yeah,
using various other apps as well, so like that. I mean, there's like offer ups and things like that.
yeah, I
I've
have saved searches for every one of the ones that I have left.
Gotcha. And I'm sure people reach out to you. They know it's just a passion project of yours, and I'm sure they reach out to you. And um, uh, it's do you find that because you're a guy who came from sports collecting too, so
Mhm.
do you find that the wrestling community seems to be a little bit more close?
It's a lot more close if
Yeah.
you ask me. I mean, there's crap tons of guys out there just in the sports card world that are fantastic, but the wrestling end of it, it's just more prevalent to me.
Yeah.
I just have seen it. I mean, I've had guys just cold message me on Twitter about these cards. Hey, I've got, whoever, Eric Watts. I just want to send it to you. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But, if I bought one off eBay, this is what it would cost me. And this is what I'd feel comfortable giving you. I've probably got 15 like that
Oh.
just from folks that wanted to help out. And you don't see that much with other stuff.
I'm not a longtime collector in sport. As a kid, I collected baseball, primarily just baseball, and then some non-sport stuff. But so again, when I was a kid, I mean, I'm 51 years old, so that's a long time ago. But um, I don't collect anything else. I don't collect the other sports, so I don't really know that community very well. But I hear that a lot. That oh my
Mhm.
God, the wrestling community is just so much more passionate and helpful, and I'm starting to see that because I'm getting back into collecting cards again. And for me, I'm a big fan of Kurt Angle, so I'm after collecting Kurt Angle stuff, and I've had that same thing happen to me. People say, "Hey, I want to send this to you because you're a Kurt Angle fan," so like that. And I go, "Wow, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I wasn't even on my radar to collect that card, but thank you."
Right. Yeah, I will tell you from my experience, money is the last thing that usually comes up when I'm talking to somebody about one of these cards. We get there eventually, but if you're talking about sports cards, it comes up pretty quick.
First thing, yeah. I'm watching some of these YouTube clips from people going out to card shows, and they're throwing around thousands of dollars at a time, and
Yeah.
that's the first thing they ask. What do you want for it? What's that? What's that going to set me back? What do you want for it? And
Yep.
I just don't see that in wrestling too much. Yeah, I mean, you see
No,
people posting prices and
usually,
stuff.
yeah. Usually there's a story exchange. There's, you have guys that ask, why did I get into this set, or how am I doing, every year by year, and ask questions and show genuine interest. And then it might be, hey, guess what, I've got this card.
Sometimes
you
they
want to
fall
do
they fall
something.
into it. I think my good buddy Zan, he got you the Kevin Nash one, I think, right?
He did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did. And we talked about it, several times. And then, after we talked about it a few times, then we made something happen on it.
Yeah, he's constantly scouring the internet for stuff and getting great deals, and
Yeah.
he's so good at doing that. And then when he comes across that, again, he's a perfect example of someone in the wrestling community that he's looking out for other wrestling collectors as well.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I mean, I remember when he and I were talking about that card, and he asked me what I would be comfortable at in that card. And, we went a message or two back and forth about it. And then finally he said, well, I know what I've got in it, and this is good. This is fair. And I said, yep, that is fair.
Yep.
So
it's nice when it works out like that. It's nice.
Absolutely.
So I don't have the experience for other sports. So all I know is my good, close wrestling trading card community. Well, it's interesting, man. You got an impressive collection there, and it's I hope you get it completed soon. And I hope that I hate that you're going to put it in some kind of a vault or something like that. Man, it'd be nice.
To do that, huh?
Huh?
You don't want me to put it in a vault?
It'd be so cool to, like, when you finish it, to bring you back on and talk about a little bit more detail about your history and getting this stuff, and the final 8 and how you got it done, and just seeing it behind you, like on a wall or something like that. And maybe you're not spending money on the cards anymore, the high end stuff anymore. Maybe invest in some nice high end custom framework.
I mean, that's a possibility. That could happen.
And then it's hard, but I'm not sure if insurance companies are out insuring collectibles. I actually had an insurance company one time try to give me a quote on what I had in my storage at the time. And just looking through some boxes, he's like, oh, I talked to my supervisors like that. We can't insure this. It's just such a volatile market. I can't really insure this.
I have a rider on mine. It's not a super amount of money, but it's replacement, pre-COVID replacement. Sure. I can't get them to renegotiate, my coverage level. I tried.
So but, you quadruple the price and everything you picked up since COVID. That's make up for it.
Yeah, but I mean, depending on who your insurance folks are, you can get something done with that.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. And this is all going to continue to stay as raw, or do you plan on getting that stuff graded someday?
I have thought about having it graded, but I think I have made the decision along the way that I am not going to get it graded, because I believe it could create a manic state for me when I send in, El Dandy, and he comes back a 5.
He's like, I gotta get a better grade than that.
Then I got to go back and find El Dandy at a 7 or an 8 or whatever grade that my crazy mind has arrived at, that I have to have the set at 8 or better. And there are 2 complete sets on the registry.
Okay.
And I would not even want to begin pricing out what those are worth, because I know what the set looks like raw, buying them, and it is it's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
A lot.
It is a lot. You picked up a really hard and impressive set of cards to go out and collect like that. So my hat's off to you, man, for getting as far as you've gotten. And I look forward to talking to you again when you actually completed it, so we can figure out how you rounded all this stuff up. Maybe give some stories on each one, like anyone that in particular that was like a weird way you got a hold of something. And
yeah, there's a few interesting stories there. I would give a piece of advice just now, because there's a surprising amount of people that are trying to start working on this set. And there's a lot of people that just don't even talk about the fact that they're working on the set for whatever reason. They're just not active on social or whatnot. something that I did from the beginning was track how much that I had to put down to get into each card. And I'm glad I've done that. And I also hate that I've done that, because it just will drive you nuts, because a year later one will come up with like a $40 buy it now, and I had to pay $100 for that card. And so I don't know if that's really sound advice to track it. I track it, but I'm nuts. So.
Well, to go after that kind of a collection, you have to be a little bit nuts to go after all 101 of those. Like, and so you only got the 3, you said, that 3 of those 8 that were never released. Do you ever plan on trying to get some of those maybe?
I would love to get all 8, but each one of those 5 that I don't have has a different level of mythology around it. The Ric Flair, I believe there's been 2.
I've seen 1.
Is it 1? Yeah, that's probably right.
It was at least 10 years ago on eBay, and that's where I saw it, and that's where I got the image from. And then to do the homework on it, found out that it was sold by Jimmy Hart's son. So that made sense that it came from his dad, and his dad was a liaison for all that stuff. And then, of course, his good buddies Hogan anyway. So it made sense, but I've never seen another one.
Yeah. I mean, it's Ray, just, you've got the most experience with that card of anybody. It just isn't out there. Booker T isn't out there. British Bulldog. I mean, that would, if I had to pick one of the 8 to have, that would be the one I would want to have. Not even the Flair.
Yeah.
I would want the British Bulldog, and the only thing I've ever found on it is like screen grabs from blowout forums from 2001.
Yeah, it's probably what I have. It's probably where I got the image from. It's on the WTC checklist. Yeah.
Yeah. I would kill. Well, if law enforcement's watching, I would not kill. That was a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to get all 8 of them, but sure it won't happen.
Maybe those 5 will become like a small little but expensive side project.
Yeah.
No longer becomes your main focus, but just if you happen to come across one.
Yeah, that would be some next level stuff.
Yeah.
To happen upon those other 5 that are out there. And the Steiner and the Duncombe, even though they come out more often than any of the other ones, they're still super rare.
Yeah, they are. What's a Steiner going for these days? Do you know, on average?
I paid $220 for mine about a year ago.
Okay, that's still not that bad.
I see them on eBay. They pop up there with starting bid 200 or buy it now 450, 500.
I think now that I mentioned, I think I saw one once. Someone listed for $499.99.
Yeah,
so just around $500. Yeah, it's a great card.
And the Duncombe Jr. is actually, to me, it comes up less than the Steiner. The Steiner comes up more than the Whipwreck or the Duncombe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Mikey actually has talked about that card on his Twitter.
Has he?
Yes, sir. He has. And one of the guys that's helped me out tremendously with this set, Tony O on Twitter, he had the Mikey and interacted with him. Well, actually, no, he did not have it. Mikey popped it up on his Twitter that he had found one that he had signed. And Tony worked a deal with him, I believe, and actually he signed the back 2020 to match what he signed in 98.
Gotcha.
And that's something that will never come out of his set.
Sure.
Ball. But yeah, I'd love to get all of those that never came out. That would be phenomenal. But the ones that I'm down to now are just they're also really tough.
Are they?
Yes.
I know. Now the Hogan is.
The Hogan's tremendously tough. The crazy thing is, you know, I pinned that on my Twitter at the top, what I need.
Saw that.
Yeah, and guys will say, fire?
Yeah.
Nitro Girl fire? You haven't gotten her? And I'm like, no. I have seen her for years, but I didn't want to pay $300 for it. You know, for whatever reason, just never seen it reasonable to me at the time.
You come across any that you just kind of passed on for like Mean Gene?
Yeah, I do have a couple of horror stories about Mean Gene, actually. I kind of took that one for granted along the way because it does pop up fairly common. And I just never pulled the trigger, never would meet, you know, a best offer on it twice. I thought I had a deal worked out on Mean Gene and they both fell through. And then after he passed, skyrocket.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's beautiful signature.
It is.
But it's out there. It's out there to be got. There's one buy it now, right now on eBay, $375.
I guess in the grand scheme, it's not that bad, but it's Mean Gene. It's a little high.
I think I can do better. Somebody's going to see this that's got it that will do better.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
If they do, that's great.
That's awesome. Well, you know, if I come across anything like that at all, I'll make sure I, you know, let you know. I'm going to a card show tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a first time card show here in Arizona. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm going to go see if I can meet 75 Kings. The guy does all the artworks like that. He's supposed to be setting up there. Had I known that we're going to be having a show there, I probably would have gotten a table to move some stuff myself, but it's going to be fun. We're going to do some recording while I'm there and see if come across any hidden gems. Who knows? You know, I always hold out hope. Always hold out hope.
Look out for Barry Horowitz stuff for me.
Barry Horowitz stuff. Okay. You got it, man. Well, I thank you for coming on. Thank you. It's always fun to talk to someone who's a serious collector, especially when it comes to something like the WCW ones. Like I said, it's right in my wheelhouse. That whole era right there is like right up my alley. I had good relationships with Topps and then really good relationship with Comic Images at the time. So information became very easy for me to come by. But it's just cool to talk about it, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I love this set. I love talking about the guys in the set, the guys that didn't make the set that we never saw. You know, we didn't really get into that a lot.
Yep. But we'll cover more of that too. When you finish this setup, I really want to talk to you when you finish the setup, and then we'll talk about some of those horror stories of things that kind of went through, some of the lucky finds, maybe some of the ones maybe it's like, you know what, I just got to do it. It's a little bit out of my price range, but I got to do it, you know, kind of thing.
I'll tease you with one. I've got one card in my run that I paid $2 for.
$2. Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it for sure. All right, man. Well, Wes, I really appreciate your time for this, and you know, let's talk again soon.
Absolutely, love to do it.
All right, wrestling card collectors. We're gonna wrap this one up. Until next time.